were to be a restaurant at 1006 Main Street, which it appears that that's going to happen, where would their outside dining take place?
They can either do it in the front or if they have.
They would have to submit a plan showing us where they want to do it and see if it meets the criteria of the ordinance.
Until we know.
So if it's a convert, it was a retail space. If it's converted to a restaurant, when will the public be notified about that?
Well, they pull permits for the work and then the mercantile licenses for.
The restaurant's a permitted use, so there would be no.
There's no public hearing on it.
So none of the residents there would be notified if there were dining that were going to happen in the first floor of that commercial building,
Correct.
and it's in the back, and it's butting up against residential.
I'm sorry to do this.
Property.
That's for 5 minutes.
Okay, but I can come back.
We'll see. It's getting pretty late.
I understand that, but this is really a big
I
concern of mine
understand.
here. And I'm very confused, and I would really like to have it cleared up.
This may be something that would be better addressed
Yeah.
outside of public session, but.
Well,
but that's your 5 minutes. So
Okay, well, I'll wait.
Jimmy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you. I have a great story I'd like to share with you if I may.
Name and address for the record.
Jim Camaris, Jimmy's Place, 804 Ocean Ave, Belmar. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty good story. A few months ago, I was interviewed by CBS News. And a couple weeks after that, I started getting letters from all over the country. People thanking me and you, Mr. Mayor, the council, the fire department, the police department, first responders. It was all in this letter. What a great job. The sense of community that they saw. They were inspired by us. And it was very humbling to get these letters from complete strangers, you know, that they saw it on TV, and they saw what we were doing, how we were keeping our residents and everyone safe. And a couple of the letters were accompanied by checks, $5, $10, $20 and such, with memos such as "You're doing a great job. Keep up the great work. We're inspired by what you're doing here at Belmar." They were heartfelt letters, and lost my train of thought here. One gentleman said he sent $5. Buy yourself a cup of coffee. And how cool is that, you know? And some were as far as California, Minnesota, Colorado, and a lot of the folks stated in these letters that they're going to put Belmar in their vacation plans. They're going to try to come to Belmar. So this was great, and I just wanted to share that with you. Then about 2 weeks ago, I got this package Joe Mailman delivered me. The water wasn't in it. And I said, "What's this, Joe?" I said, "I didn't order anything." So I looked at it. He said, "Well, what do I know?" He says, "Open it and find out." And it was from Tie Wrap Corporation, San Diego, California. So I started digging through there. There's tie wraps. And then there's Keep Your Beard gold thing with Tie Wrap Corporation on it. T-shirts with Tie Wrap Corporation on it. And I'm saying to myself, okay, it's a marketing, they want me to advertise on pens and T-shirts and this and that. And I kept digging in, and I came out with this, notepads with their letterhead on it, Tie Wrap Corporation, and there was writing on it. And I'll be brief, and it said, "Jimmy, we saw you on CBS News back in January. Hope these tie wraps can help you keep things together." He made another joke, and he said, "Tie one on." And keep staying strong, your positive attitude, very inspirational. Best of luck in the coming summer. Ryan Willie. Hi, Jimmy. I've been to your boardwalk about 25 years ago, and hope to visit again. Best of luck this summer. Terry Green. Aloha from Hawaii. Aloha. You're a touching story. You're a very touching story. You're amazing. Well, I don't know about that. Stay strong. Never lose faith. Hopefully one day we'll visit Belmar. Jimmy, you're awesome again. Good luck this summer. Hope to see you next winter. And I was humbled by this. I really was. I was grateful. I had chills. I called my wife. I told her. We actually cried on the phone, one into the other, just to show you that, I mean, karma. I mean, what a great example of karma, is the golden rule. I was like, wow, man, it still exists. And I kept reaching in there. Cowbell. So I ran to the store and there was an envelope in there for $500. And I was just floored. So, of course, we're answering all these letters. We did the other letters and stuff. But, like I said, unsolicited, just people saw us. And thanks to you, Mayor, and everybody, we put Belmar nationwide. You know what I mean? And people want to come to Belmar. And I was inspired with the kids today, this morning. Oh, marvelous. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. And have a good evening. Oh, the rest of my time. You know what? If anybody wants a tie to keep it together, grab a tie before you go.
With just a comment while Janice is coming up. There's tremendous excitement, tremendous feeling of pride throughout the community about the opening of our blue book. I can't begin to tell you all the good things that I've heard. I was out to dinner for Mother's Day, and the people that spoke to me, and people that were from another short community, said they were jealous of Belmar because we're so far ahead. So, all good.
Good evening, Janice Kim Blackburn, 106 River Court. Go. First of all, your pirate ships, we sold them the other day. We wanted to get out of the car and go play on them. But the main reason I came up to speak to everybody this evening, I think we have the best police force around. They can't be beat. They proved themselves both during and after the storm. They worked long, long hours. I was away on a trip, and Harry was at the house. He saw 3 men walking down our street, which is a very dark, empty street, and he went out and yelled at them with a great big spotlight. It was one of our police officers and 2 of the Army guys. They were patrolling to make sure everybody in Belmar was safe. That was incredible. They're constantly there for us, whether there's a storm in town or not. They're always available. They're always friendly. Maybe if you robbed the bank, they wouldn't be friendly, but they're friendly to all of us. Safety Day a week or so ago was absolutely incredible. I thought Sergeant Scott and all of the officers that were there did a fantastic job. I was excited to see not 1 but 2 helicopters come in. I personally want to thank all of our officers here in this town for the great job they did, and they still do, and they do every single day and evening. And I believe that any elected official on that dais should support not only the police officers, but every employee in this town, because they all do an incredible job.
Yes, sir.
Bill Strauss, Oakwood Road. I noticed we bought about 10 new vehicles in the last few months. Is that right? Police cars, police vans, SUVs.
Probably more than 10.
More than 10?
How many trucks, yeah?
Why did we buy 10 vehicles all of a sudden?
We lost most of the fleet in the storm.
How do you lose the vehicles in the storm?
When you rescue people in salt water, the vehicles go down.
Right. I mean, did like a mechanic check the vehicles out and deem that they were no longer viable?
Yes.
Chief, you want to address this?
Yeah. The vehicles were inspected by the mechanic. The mechanic tells us that so does the major company that once salt water is in your vehicle, so we can fix some of them now, but then for the next 5 years, all you're going to have is breakdowns. This,
Right.
the
So
transmissions. So by the time they're done with all the repairs, and the insurance company deem it's
Right.
cheaper to buy new vehicles.
Did the officers actually drive the vehicles into the water?
Absolutely.
They did.
Yes, they did.
like the mechanic, when he checked out the vehicles, did they file a report? Did they file like a vehicle damage
The
report?
insurance company has to come down and inspect the vehicle.
Right, well, I did an open request, and it seems that there's no, nothing at all for damage reports. It says here, in response to your open request, the Borough of Belmar does not have any authorized mechanics reports for vehicle damage to police and borough vehicles as a result of Hurricane Sandy. So that means somebody's lying. Who's lying?
Nobody's lying, sir.
Mr.
Well,
Campbell,
well-
would you like to address this?
Well,
The mechanic that inspected the vehicle was from the insurance company, not a borough employee.
so how do I get that report?
I have no idea, sir. I'm just telling you why the
No, okay, Mike.
file here. I met with him personally. We went through the cars with my mechanic there, but he did not inspect them. They went through car by car to do their inspections. Then they decide some cars were totaled and some cars were actually rehabbed. The car I drive, we thought was totaled because it just didn't start. We never thought it was going to get back. They send the car to the dealership. They said, we can put in X amount of dollars, get that car back on the road, and that's how I got the car.
From the insurance company?
Yes, but they sent mechanics down.
Can we get the insurance company report? I mean, is that
I
possible?
do not have access to that for sure. I don't know if it can be
I mean,
done.
does anybody know what insurance company we use?
We use the central JIP.
Who?
The central JIP.
I don't know if their reports are going to be helpful for you.
Right, well, I mean, I was just kind of curious, because I used to deliver police cars for Sansone, and it usually takes months to get a car, because they got to put the cage in, they got to put the computer in, they got to put the lights on, the sirens in. How did you get so many vehicles so fast, if I could just ask that? Mike?
Yeah, we took the cars as they were, because DPW also lost a good part of our fleet. We took the cars as we were, and then when things calmed down and we could get it, then we added the lights. we
You
added
send them out to the vendors?
We added the things we needed, the toolbox.
Vendors come
There's
down.
still
Oh, vendors
small
come-
stuff in-
Okay, all right, thank you. I just was trying to find out.
Yes, Brett?
Brendan Reed, 109th Avenue. I just want to give a report from a meeting of the New Jersey Transit Board of Directors, which I attended last Wednesday. I came as a private citizen. I spoke at the public hearing portion. I was there to kind of discuss about, how do we improve service on our rail line, the North Jersey coastline. Talked a little bit about marketing, marketing improvements, cross-owner affairs, improvements, additional training, and also on accessibility. I had a copy of the letter from Council President Denicky to New Jersey Transit, which actually submitted to all the New Transit Board members. And it happened to be a very opportune time to discuss this issue, because at the same New Jersey Transit Board meeting, there was an item on the agenda for the final study, $2.05 million final study, for a $45 million rehab of the Perth Amboy station, including ADA. So you have a lot of speakers there, including accessibility advocates, talking about ADA, and at the one portion, we were in a meeting, the chair of NJ Transit, James Simpson, said, maybe we ought to take a look at this at a future board meeting. So this is kind of following up on the great work that Council President Nicky's been doing on ADA, trying to get our station accessible. So it's going to be a long haul with this thing. I say just keep at it, but I can tell you right now, there's very strong interest and growing interest and support for it. Thank you.
I want to thank you for that, and we're not going to let it die, because before my term of office is over, I want to see some type of an appliance or plank or a ramp from our train station onto the train for all of those handicapped people.
Yeah.
Choose to go by rail, and they can very easily use that access link, which would take them to another train station that has accessibility. But why should they have to do that? Go from one car to another vehicle and then to another place? We should have it right ready for them here in Belmar. So I thank you for your help. I'm going to continue to follow up with my letter.
And just to put it in perspective in ridership numbers, the case may be, well, we don't have enough riders to justify this. Well, I did do some looking at the average weekday ridership on the North Jersey coastline. Point Pleasant, two accessible stations, Point Pleasant Beach has, Belmar has 305 average weekday riders, Point Pleasant Beach has 329, and Elberon Station, which is rebuilt after fire, has 117. So certainly these communities can have accessible stations, certainly we can ourselves.
Absolutely. We're working hard towards that.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Ernest Liberatore, 8th Street in Belmar. You know, I thought Belmar was a great town. Now I'm sure of it. There was an article in 201 magazine up in Bergen County, which I had to read this evening and come running down and report that to you. It's a beautiful article about the town. It talks about all the B&Bs and the boardwalk, how quickly and expeditiously things are coming to fruition as you promised. And I just wanted to say that it's a great story about the community, and it's been well broadcast, as well as Channel 11, Channel 4. So my grandfather planted a fig tree years ago in the backyard. I've been attending to it ever since. And I just wanted to say I'm inspired as well to see what a dynamic community is, and hopefully it moves in that direction. Thankfully, you've invested some time and money into the SID program. Great to hear about all the programs that will do anything as far as moving these great stories forward. If I can do anything in that regard as well, I'd love to do it. As a matter of fact, I wrote a song and it'll be ready Friday, so I'd love to have the opportunity to present it to the council at some point in time, or introduce it to one of your festivals, because I think the positive momentum has really been established here, and I hope you continue it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What magazine was that?
201. 201 magazine.
Any other comments, questions? Patty?
I realize it's late and that you don't have the information that I'm discussing, but from what I see and from my perspective, the 1006 building is the commercial first floor property butts up against residential property. And it does appear that there is going to be outside dining in the rear of that property, as well as deck dining. And I've lived in this town all my life. I grew up here. The 1002 Main Street property is my childhood home. And we have a rental unit in the back. It's greatly going to affect all of the residents that live there. The people that live on East Street to Main, including the people who live above those commercial buildings. They expect the hustle and bustle as well as the outdoor dining to be permitted on Main Street, but they embrace the great outdoors, the peace and tranquility in their backyard. And they'll no longer have this. I don't believe that you can fully appreciate what the experience would be like for them unless you live there yourself. And there is a bigger picture here. I mean, I almost feel like we're going back to the days of, you know, is this reminiscent to like the Key Largo? Is this reminiscent to Montego Bay? And I get it. They were bars, but they were contained within four walls and a roof. Now you're asking people to have backdoor dining, and it's butting up against a residential area. And I don't think that's fair to those residents. I mean, they're not even gonna be notified from what you're saying. They're not gonna have the chance to voice their opinions, their thoughts, their concerns. And we don't even know what that's gonna look like or be like. And as I understood, the intention of the ordinance when it was passed was that it was sidewalk related. It refers to the curbs, it refers to the sidewalk. And if that was your intention, and that's what you held in your head and in your heart when you made that ruling, then I'd like that to be amended. If that's the ordinance that you were looking to pass, and that's the way you wanted it to be, that it had to do with sidewalk dining, and to make it easier for those businesses to have that, then that's something that I would like to see. Or then have this be a public meeting. Have people, allow them to have their say. Because they don't even know about it. They don't even know what's coming. They don't realize it.
Well, they haven't done anything yet.
But then at that point, it's too late. I mean, you're not even giving these residents, people that I've known all my life, and I couldn't sit back and like watch that happen. I mean, I'm already dealing with a garbage issue that's on 1,000. It's a garbage dump. Where's it gonna go? You have literally people who are living, there's 3 units that are above what I remember to be Sanskrit, but it's now the jewelry store. Those people are gonna be greatly affected. I mean, they're residents of this town. They have the right to know what's going on. If it was meant for one thing, then let it be for that. But if you didn't have that as your intention, and it's not in your heart and in your head, and you want what's best for all world, you need to do the right thing. Thank you.
Make a motion to close the public portion and adjourn. I will second.
All in favor?
Good night. Thank you.
They didn't cover.
That's my daughter. That's my daughter.
I saw them.